This DALGONA coffee is a hot new trend that you've been seeing all over the internet. But what if I told you that we can make them with different flavors? Today I'm going to share 3 DALGONA inspired drinks, 3 different flavors, 3 different techniques for you to enjoy. We're going to start with the classic DALGONA coffee, which I'm sure you've been seeing all over your social and internet. It's a simple whipped coffee drink using only 3 ingredients paired with your milk and tastes almost like coffee ice cream. A treat any time of day. To make the DALGONA coffee, it's really quite simple. I'm gonna start off with 2 packages of instant coffee. Now, I've measured these out and it's equivalent to 1.5 tablespoons of freeze-dried instant coffee. I'm gonna add that to my bowl. Then with the sugar, I'm only gonna add 2 teaspoons. And finally, another 1.5 tablespoons of hot water. And now at this point, you can choose to whisk it up with this manual whisk, which I found takes a lot of arm strength and takes about 4 to 5 minutes to actually achieve the foaminess that you're looking for. I don't have the arm strength, so I'm gonna be using my handy dandy electric mixer to get the job done in about a minute. So I've let it kind of dissolve. Now we're just gonna go in and mix it up and let it get nice and frothy for about a minute. You'll see the coffee transform into this foam. The crema that you get from a typical shot of espresso binds with the sugar to stabilize, and you get this nice frothy foam. DALGONA. So how I know when to stop is when I basically get stiff peaks like this, similar to a meringue that you would whip up or egg whites. This looks beautiful. It's a nice pale golden brown color. A little bitter, but it'll mix beautifully with our milk, which I'm gonna show you how to do next. In a glass that I've already filled with ice, I'm gonna fill it up 3/4 of the way with milk. You can use your favorite milk here, oat milk, cow's milk, plant-based milk, anything works. Now to get that perfectly rounded, beautiful dollop on top, I'm gonna be using this cookie scoop and I'm gonna add a few scoops on top. The foam will just float on top of our milk and create this beautiful coffee cloud. Get the foam mixed in with the milk, and it'll deflate a little bit on top, but that's not a big problem at all. It actually looks really pretty spilled over like this. Let's give it a try. So because the coffee is so intense with the 2 packets of instant coffee, the flavor is really concentrated, and because I only added 2 teaspoons of sugar, it's not intense. I've seen a lot of recipes out there that use 2 tablespoons of sugar, and that's just way too much. This is perfectly balanced, and like I said, really reminds me of coffee ice cream, which is one of my favorite flavors. If you're looking for a caffeinated version that's not coffee, look no further than this matcha cream DALGONA version. I mean, it wouldn't be a honeysuckle drink video if I didn't make a matcha version, right? So for this one, I'm taking a slightly different approach. We're gonna be using a little bit of whipped cream to help the matcha foam up. This one's a little different than the last one because, like I said earlier, coffee has that stabilizing agent or the crema after it's been roasted. So when it's added with sugar, it stabilizes and whips up into that beautiful foam. Matcha, unfortunately, is just a tea powder and it doesn't have that. So first, I'm gonna start by whipping up our cream. Heavy cream, I'm using a 1/4 cup here. And to help it get nice and flavorful, I'll add 2 teaspoons of sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'll go ahead and start whipping it up until it gets nice and frothy. For the heavy cream, you wanna make sure that it's extra cold. All right, so once you start seeing kind of a ribbon form within the cream, that's when you can add your matcha. The reason why I didn't add the matcha at the beginning was because once you aerate it and whip too much air into it, it kind of loses that color, and I want it to be a beautiful, vibrant green. So now I'll add our 2 teaspoons of matcha powder. So for the matcha, there's varying grades of quality, and there's a ceremonial, there's kind of like the all-purpose one that you can use for baking, drinks, what have you. That's kind of like the best deal that you can get out there, and that's the kind that I'm using because I tend to use matcha a lot. But if you want to use the ceremonial grade one, that's extra fancy, so maybe just reduce it to 1 teaspoon. Now we'll mix it up again. It has a really beautiful, soft, creamy, and fluffy consistency. Pretty much like our coffee one, but with whipped cream, I have to say it's really easy to go overboard and churn it into butter. So you can either make matcha butter or you can save it by just adding a little bit of whole milk into it and re-whip it again to thin it out. The consistency you're looking for is this soft, fluffy cloud. Again, in my glass already filled with ice, I'm gonna add a coconut almond mix this time because I think it pairs really well with matcha. I'll pour it 3/4 of the way up, and I'm gonna give this a quick taste though. This could be frosting. Matcha whipped cream frosting, but I'm actually gonna add the Dalgona whipped matcha on top of my milk. And finally, just to add a little bit of pizzazz, I'm gonna dust the top with a little more matcha. All right, so now I'm just gonna mix the foam in with the milk, and you're just gonna have to mix it throughout the whole process of drinking it. Oh, the foam is spilling over. Not a big deal, just scrape it back up or lick it. Oh, that is good. I almost like this version way more than the coffee one, I'd have to say. I mean, I am a matcha lover, so this, with the addition of the vanilla in there, it's slightly sweet, not too sweet, and heavy on the matcha flavor, this drink is my go-to. All right, but stick around. We have one more. Now this one is a non-caffeinated version with all of the superpowers. You have protein from the egg whites, and then you have the anti-inflammatory properties from the turmeric. This is the golden milk Dalgona drink. So for this version, it's a little bit more involved, but trust me, it works beautifully. I am basically gonna be using egg whites to whip up our foam for our golden milk. So I'm gonna heat up some water until boiling point in my pot, and then I'm gonna add my bowl right on top of it. Now we're gonna add our flavorings in. I have 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/8 teaspoon of ginger, and then to activate the anti-inflammatory properties of the turmeric, a pinch of black pepper. Finally, we'll add in 2 egg whites. I'll save the yolk for flan or something later. And then we'll whisk it all up until it's nice and frothy. So doing it on a bain-marie like this, a soft hot water bath, cooks up the egg whites so you don't have to worry about drinking raw eggs, basically. Halfway through, I'm gonna take it off and continue whisking it so it gets nice and foamy. Now in a glass filled with ice, I'm gonna add a coconut milk blend in here. I'll pour it 3/4 the way full, and then we'll scoop our golden mix mixture right on top. Finally, I'll just give it a nice dusting of cinnamon right on top, just a very light one. All right, again, we'll just whisk everything together. Let it really blend through. The egg whites in here is probably the most foamy out of all of the techniques that we tried. And since I did it on a bain-marie, the steam, the soft heat cooked the egg whites, so you don't have to worry. The color is so beautiful. Ooh, yeah. With the coconut milk, this is so it's creamy. The turmeric latte, or like the turmeric flavor in this, is apparent, but it's not overpowering. It's slightly sweet, and then the cinnamon and ginger really shines through as well. And in case you're wondering, do you taste the black pepper? Not at all. I hope you guys enjoyed the 3 Dalgona Coffee inspired drinks. Actually, one is a real one, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's all over the internet these days, and I find a lot of inspiration during this crazy time from what you guys are making. So if there's a new trend that you guys want to see, comment below and let me know what you want me to recreate. Otherwise, let me know which version you would try. And if you guys wanted to try the golden milk one with the cream, that would totally work as well. Instead of the matchas, just swap them out. I hope this is easy enough to try. Another project for us to look forward to. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Okay, let's stick around.